Hello. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a very anticipated reading vlog for me. We're going to be reading the Throne of Glass series. Is this missing a book? Yes, it's because I already took it out. Throne of Glass goes at the bottom. I got gifted this like 2 days ago and I have already put off every other book I was going to read for the rest of the year to read this in the next month because we have 1 month left of the year. I'm not going to read any Christmas books. I'm not going to read any summery books until the new year because obviously the new year is still summer in Australia, so I don't have to read summer books until the new year. We instead will be reading Throne of Glass. Now this will be done over multiple vlogs because I've decided that in order to get my reactions to as much as possible, as well as including as many of my thoughts and feelings as I read this very, very well-known series for the first time, I need to do it over multiple. So there's going to be 3 different vlogs so that I can get everything I have to say in there. So first vlog is Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight and Assassin's Blade, and then we're going to do Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, and then we'll do the tandem read and Kingdom of Ash. Now I know there is a lot of different variations of the reading order of this, however I have 3 friends who have read this series and absolutely love it, and they have told me the best way is to read Assassin's Blade third because while it is the prequel, in order to have the most like emotional investment and understanding of the novellas, read it third. So I will be doing that, and then I will also be doing the tandem read because I've heard way too much about you should not read them individually, so I will be doing the tandem read. It's my first time ever doing a tandem read. Kind of scary, but you know, that's fine. We will also be annotating the entire series. I have started Throne of Glass last night. I've started annotating. I'm 50 pages in, still getting into the thick of it all. I feel like I don't really need to give an overall synopsis of the series considering it is so well known, but I also don't know how to pronounce the main characters' names, so I'm going to put those books down because they're really heavy. But basically it follows Selena, I don't know how to say her name. It follows her as she goes into the kingdom, and she is the most well-known assassin in the land, and she got caught and imprisoned. It's just following her being involved in a competition to be the king's champion in the first book. The rest of the books, I have no idea. Going into this, I'd heard of the female main character. That's it. I haven't heard of anyone from this series. Like, obviously I've seen everyone talking about it, but I know nothing about this series. All I know is that it is a fantasy. It is my first pure fantasy series, I think. It isn't like a romantasy. It's just classified as fantasy. So that is very overwhelming, very intimidating. But I do believe in myself. I think I can do it. And that is also why I'm annotating. I process the information more. I pay more attention to what I'm reading because I'm constantly thinking if I should annotate it or is this important, and I can go back and find things that I think are important or big world building plot points so that I understand what's going on because I forget a lot of what I read. But basically we are going to be reading Throne of Glass over the next month, and I will be releasing these vlogs every few weeks. Hopefully we can get it done in time. I just wanted to introduce the video. I have work today, so I may not get much of this done in the morning, but we're gonna do our best to read Throne of Glass over the next couple of days. I'm very, very, very excited to get into this. So without further ado, let the reading vlogs begin. Okay, I can't really see exactly how the lighting is, but I finally have a car stand for this camera. I went for a little drive, so we're gonna do some reading in the car. I have not read at all today, but I did read a fair bit yesterday. I got to page 170, chapter 24, and then I listened to a little bit of an audiobook, but not much, like not enough to finish whole chapter. But it's basically page 175. I got some snacks. We got Rokeby Bold Brew. It's just an iced latte. Cheese and biscuits. A yogurt. And raspberry dusted white chocolate almonds. Thought they were good snacks. So I figured we'd sit here and read and I'd give you an update. So yeah, I'm about 24 pages in, almost halfway. Annotated, decent amount. And I'm loving it so far. The female main character, I know she's a lot of people's favourite, Sarah J Maas main female character, and I can see why. She is, honestly, she's so independent. She's just like a girl boss, you know? There's no other way of explaining it. She's powerful, she's independent, she's a strong, independent woman, and we love to see it. Like, especially in a fantasy book, her being like the lead character who has all these skills to kill people and fight back for herself and stand up for herself and not be intimidated by men or the kingdom is very, very amazing to see in a book, and I'm absolutely eating it up. Everything I've gotten through is still in the blurb. So she's done 3 or 4 trials by now. I think there was 18 people left out of 23 last I read, and she slayed at the first one. She did amazing at the archery one, which she wasn't supposed to do, but she did great. All the others stayed under the radar. Apart from the more recent one, she kind of did something that she shouldn't do if she wanted to stay under the radar, but at the end of the day, she did the right thing for Knox, who is her friend. I love Knox. I'm scared to say that because I feel like he's probably going to die. I love him. He's so sweet. He's such a good friend. Like, and he's such a nice person out of all the other competitors. Like, everyone else is so mean. And it's just like, get over yourself. Like, and I love that Knox isn't like that. There's been some flirting between her and the prince, which I'm also eating up. I love it so much. But then there's also like her and her guard, Cole. Still don't know how to say his name. There's some flirting between them. Well, they're not flirting, they're arguing. But like, she's also been like calling him handsome in her mind and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know who. Like, I know it's not really a romance, but she's mentioned Sam, which isn't a spoiler. He's mentioned in the first, like, 100 pages. So yeah, I'm loving it so far. I don't really know how to say much without giving spoilers, but also there's not many spoilers to be given yet. You know. I'm gonna put my hair up, and we're gonna sit here, and we're gonna read for a little bit. Okay, firstly I want to read a quote. Secondly, I want to say I love how one page they have me tab a romance tab for Dorian, and then the next page it's for Cole. I don't know how to say his name. I might ask my friends that actually. I don't know, I think I like Dorian more. I think. But this quote, I can't. This is from Dorian's point of view. She hadn't even bothered to stir, but there was nothing of the assassin in her face. Not a trace of aggression or bloodlust lay across her features. He knew her somehow, and he knew she wouldn't harm him. It made little sense. When they talked, as sharp as her words usually were, he felt at ease, as if he could say anything, and she must have felt the same. But then, the next page, it's such a juxtaposition as to how both men perceive her, because she's sleeping, and Dorian said, like, there's no trace of the assassin, whereas the other guy says, she was still in her clothes, and while she looked beautiful, that did nothing to mask the killing potential that lay beneath. It was present in her strong jaw, in the slope of her eyebrows, in the perfect stillness of her form. She was a sleeping animal, and her markings of power were everywhere. So it's like, do I prefer him who sees, like, her power and how strong and independent she is even in her sleep, or do I prefer Dorian who feels so at ease that he can talk to her about anything at any time? Like, I don't know, and I'm really conflicted about that. like, it's like 3 o'clock. I've been reading on and off for like an hour probably, and I got to this quote. I'm on page 231, and it's a conversation between Dorian and Selena, and she's like, what? He says, "You're remarkably judgmental," and she goes, "What's the point in having a mind if you don't use it to make judgments?" And I was like, I love that. I literally wrote, "Preach, I love that." But then he's like, "What's the point in having a heart if you don't use it to spare others from the harsh judgments of your mind?" I was like, whoa, that's, both of those quotes are really well said. I have been reading, I'm eating it up, I'm loving the plot. It's so interesting, like, and I know this is Sarah J Maas's like first book. I think she wrote this when she was a teenager, and I'm pretty sure Throne of Glass was her first series. This would have been her first book, and like, I'm not like, it's not bad writing, you know, I'm enjoying it. It does keep randomly switching point of views, but like, you get used to it, you know. So I'm getting used to it, and the thing I love about it is that you're constantly trying to figure it out with the main character. Like, that is how I approach fantasy, and so I have like a bunch of theories about what's going on, but I don't want to say my theories to people in case they're wrong. Then I did that with Akatar, and like, everything I guessed would ended up being correct, and I was like, I'm a genius. So now I think I can do that with Throne of Glass, even though I have no idea who's or what is killing the contestants or the champions, because that's on the blurb. I have no idea who's doing that. I'm trying so hard to work it out before she does, because I think that I can work that out, even though I know I can't. But other than that, I'm having the time of my life, and I just wanted to read those couple quotes out to you. And then this quote about music, in the same conversation, he's like, "Why do you like music so much?" She's like, "Because when I hear it, I lose myself within myself, if that makes sense. I become empty and full all at once, and I can feel the whole earth roiling around me. When I play, I'm not, for once, destroying, but I'm creating. I used to want to be a healer, and music reminds me of that feeling." And I underlined that because music is amazing, and I love that she loves music and she loves reading, while also being a strong, independent woman. At like 18, she slays, and I love her so much. I just went and got my dinner. I took a bit of a break, but I'm back to reading. I'm on page 352. Out of context quote. You ready? Like, no spoilers, because I'm just gonna read the quote. My name is Selena Sardothian, but it makes no difference if my name's Selena or Lillian or bitch, because I'd still beat you, no matter what you call me." She took out the handkerchief from her pocket and dropped it on his chest. "You can keep that." Yes! I love her. I love her, love her. And also, update, some things have been revealed. I'm still a little bit like suspicious of some characters. One character, the thing that was revealed about him, I knew that was coming. Like, I was ready for that. I sort of put it together myself. But there's 3 other characters and I'm like, I think you play into this, and I don't know how, but I think you do. There is some way you play into this whole plot, and I think there's something sus about you, but I can't, like, I can put together like vaguely how they could relate. There's a couple of them that I'm like, I don't know how you would fit in, but you do, decided you do. So I'm just waiting for that plot twist. I'm just waiting for her to find out so that I can know. Quote, I'm gonna sit here, eat my dinner, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna read the next 50 pages and finish the book tonight. I've officially finished Throne of Glass. I don't know what to rate it yet. I'm gonna rate it like tomorrow or something, so I'll just put on the screen what my rating ends up being, but I'm thinking between like 3.5 to 4 stars. But we finished Throne of Glass. I don't even know what to say. This was amazing. I was so captivated, and you know, for it being her first book, like Sarah J Maas's first book, this was really, really remarkable. I was so captured in the scene and kingdom and the story, and I think that's what every good book does. I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of my thoughts on the main characters. Dorian, love him. Love him. Kale, I like him. He's not my favourite, but I like him. Like, he's a cool guy. Nehemia, love her. Absolute powerful girl boss. Love her so much. The king, I want him to die. He's a horrible king. Like, as is every king in a fantasy book, I feel. I feel like they never have good kingdom, you know. The kings are always bad. And then the Kaltane, I think that's how you say her name. I don't know how to feel about her because she's very ambitious, but also that ambition leads her to do very, very bad things that I don't know if I can support right now. I may end up loving her. And Parrington, the Duke, he's in the same area as the king. They're like the main characters, I feel, and they're outside of all of the competitors. Yeah, the ending, the king and the Duke, and Kale, and Dorian, and Selena, I don't even know, there's nothing I can say about it without spoiling things, but the ending is and the whole thing had me guessing. Like, the whole time I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was trying to solve the plot. I had theories. You know, I was invested in it, and that's what a really good book does. So I am I'm already obsessed, and I've read one book. So that's how I feel about Throne of Glass. Now that that's done, we're going to move on to Crown of Midnight. I don't know if I'm going to start this tonight. We're going to set up the tabs, pick the pens, get the highlighters ready for Crown of Midnight. And then we will most likely start it tomorrow after work because I'm working in the morning. But I'm very excited because I know a lot of people really, really love this one. And the ending, I think, is really sad, maybe, or really shocking. I'm very, very excited because I feel like after this I'm going to be like fully invested. I can't wait. I cannot wait. To do a little halfway update of Crown of Midnight. I feel like I haven't really spoken since I said I was going to start reading this. It's 2 days later. I'm on chapter 28, page 224, so I'm halfway through the chapter pretty much. And that's how much I've read, how much I have left. I downloaded it on my Kindle so that I could see how long I had left. Did I spend $10 to do that? Yes. But I really wanted to know, like, based on my reading rate, how long it would take me. I've read a significant amount today and I'm going to try my best to finish it. But yeah, a little update is I don't know how I'm feeling. I know something's, like, the ending of this is a big deal. And I know the last, like, 50 pages. I think I'll either cry or I'll just be left in shock and not know what to say. And I'm very excited to get to that. And I mean, I'm enjoying I'm just like, I'm not like hooked. Like the first book I was hooked, you know, because it was following the trials and the competitors and all of that. And it felt like it had more plot. Whereas this one is just sort of, it's following Selena working for the king. Which I feel like isn't a spoiler because considering this is a completed series, well obviously it kind of is a spoiler for the first book. But it's also like, considering this is a completed series and we know it follows Celaena Sardothien, that would mean she has to survive through the whole series. So like, I feel like it's not a spoiler that she survives the first book, obviously. Yeah, it's just following her working for him and her trying to figure out where she stands in this kingdom and what she wants out of life. It's always been about her getting her freedom, but there's so many rebel movements going on in the continent. It's really just her figuring out what she wants to do when she gets her freedom. Like whether she just wants to go off on her own, because that's what she's been dreaming of forever, is to just have her own freedom, or if she's sort of ready to stand up for something and defend the continent and help less fortunate people that are in similar positions as she was at the start of Throne of Glass. And it's really interesting. I'm just like, you know, I like it, it's good, it's fun time, but I'm not like losing time reading it. It's not that enjoyable. Like while I'm reading it, I'm thinking of everything else I could be doing. You know, sit down for a couple hours and read. It's very intimidating. It feels like that it's heaps to read, and I feel like I don't have the mental capacity for it, and I feel like I'm really bored, but at the same time I'm really enjoying it, and it's a really conflicting feeling. But we're gonna go read, and I will chat to you later today. So I actually have some thoughts. I am now 240 pages in, not much further than the last update, but firstly I want to say something happened. I filmed it. Shook me to my core. I knew it was coming because I had seen a spoiler on TikTok. I'm trying my best to avoid TikTok and Throne of Glass TikToks, but one came up and I didn't realize it was a spoiler, and I like read 2 words and I was like, there's no way, and I scrolled. I was like, I'm not reading anymore. And I just got to it in Crown of Midnight, and I was like, oh. I did sit right here with tears in my eyes, staring at nothing for like 5 minutes before I kept reading. But my thoughts are, we're over halfway now and the pacing is definitely picking up. I think we sort of had to get to this specific moment to see the true identity of Celaena and see her assassin side of her, because obviously she was continent's assassin. Like everyone knew who she was. She was terrifying, and we're finally sort of seeing that a little bit and seeing her real true character and how fiercely loyal she is to her friends and how deeply she cares about the people who mean something to her and how far she will go to defend those people. And it's definitely making the pace pick up a lot, and the themes and the just vibe is getting a lot darker and a lot more like heavy fantasy. Like not heavy fantasy, but it's just a lot more fantasy feeling. Like it's less of like a YA fantasy and more of like a, okay, it's getting dark, we're getting into, you know, rebellions and assassins and assassinations obviously, and the feelings of Celaena being an assassin and where her mind goes when she's murdering people, and I'm really enjoying that. And I also just wanted to say, I actually wrote some notes in the margins, and okay, without spoilers, basically in this kingdom all magic was wiped out, I think 10 years ago, the king of Ardalan, this guy, the king of this place, like overtook areas. He started wiping them out, wiped it out of Ardalan. I don't know how to pronounce any of this. And he took magic away, basically. He forbid it. Anyone who had anything to do with magic got executed. Executed. Yeah, they got killed. Or they fled. All the Fae and everything fled and started civilization elsewhere. Basically, that happened 10 years ago. So Selena was 8 when that happened. And beforehand, her parents were still alive, right? I want to know about her parents. I want to know about her history and her lineage. And I know the Assassin's Blade is a prequel, but I assume the Assassin's Blade 5 novellas of when she is the assassin, not her life before being the assassin. And I just really want to know her past before the war and before this king invaded and started murdering everyone and taking over all the lands, because there was something mentioned in the first book about magic, and for some reason I just feel like she is magic. I don't know how to explain it. Obviously that's not a spoiler because like that's not confirmed, but I feel like there's something at least in her lineage, or like one of her parents or something had something to do with like fae and magic and having powers. I'm really curious. I want to know what's going on. I want to know all the history. Like the first queen, Elena, she's in the first book, like the first queen of Ardalan, you know. I want to learn more about her because she was half fae. I think Dorian is a descendant of her, I think, which is the prince in this book. And I'm just so curious. I have so many thoughts. I have so many questions that I'm really annoyed aren't answered. There was also a cliffhanger at the end of the first one. And I'm 240 pages into the second one and I still don't know anything about it. Like they still haven't mentioned anything about it. It's to do with the king and like the main lord. I really want to know what's going on. Okay, hey, it's a couple hours later. It is dark outside, so we're using really bad lighting, which is my overhead light, but I wanted to give a quick little rundown and review of Crown of Midnight. It is fully annotated and ready to go back into the box set. I gave this a 4 stars, which is 0.25 more than Throne of Glass, because overall I loved it. I think it was a really good continuation of Throne of Glass, and I think for being something Sarah J Maas wrote so early in her career, it is really good. It takes everything from the first book, all the themes that I enjoyed, and made them bigger and better. You know, there's higher stakes at the end of the day, deeper emotions, and much bigger plot twists, which are what got me. I think for the first half I was sort of like, you know, the stakes are a little higher, it's a little more intense, but I'm not that, like, I don't really care, like I'm just a bit bored. But the second half, you know, the plot twist, they really got me, and everything just like that came to light in the second half, and just everything that happened, I'm still like in shock at everything that happened in the second half of the book, and that is what brought it up to 4 stars. It probably would have been like a 3.5, 3.75, but last 150 pages really did it for me. Like every Sarah J Maas book, her last 100 to 150 pages are just an emotional roller coaster, and everything always gets revealed in the last 100 pages, and it's always so intense and so it is always so just, what's the word when you're like encaptured and involved and you feel even more like you're there, because there's so much going on and it's so just like, you know. So that's Crown of Midnight, and next we're reading Assassin's Blade, which is the final book in this vlog. I've been reading these so much faster than I planned, but Assassin's Blade is just a bit longer than Crown of Midnight. They all just keep getting that tad bit longer. Like this is probably like 5 pages longer than this. This was 5 pages longer than Throne of Glass. But this is the prequel book. As I said at the beginning, I believe I'm reading it third because this is how it was recommended to me. I know a lot of people read it first, and I'm sure that is completely okay. But I have been told that it's best to read it third. It is 5 novellas following Selena before Throne of Glass and her life as an assassin. And that's all I know. There's one character in it that I'm very excited to learn more about. I think we'll start this tomorrow probably, because it's getting pretty late tonight. I will update you as per usual at halfway point if I feel like it. Okay, I'm breaking out really bad and I'm exhausted, but I haven't given you guys an update in a hot second. I'm just about to start the final novella, The Assassin and the Empire. There's much to go. It is page 338, and it's written as like after and then before, like after and then chapter 1 11 days earlier, and I'm kind of scared because I know what's coming. And I'm not ready. I don't really have any updates. Like, there's nothing to really say about this. I mean, it's a bunch of novellas. It's a prequel. Like, it's not amazing. But this camera's going flat and so is my phone. So I'm going to sit out here and finish my coffee. It's Wednesday and I'm really behind on reading because I didn't read yesterday. I didn't read Monday. I just wasn't in the mood. So I've been reading this one really slow. So I'm kind of behind on schedule. But that's okay. I've decided, yeah, I'm going to sit out here, read a chapter and finish my coffee, and then we'll go inside, charge this camera, charge my phone, because it's only got 16% because I didn't charge last night, and finish the book. It is currently 1:48, and I have 1 hour and 25 minutes left of the audiobook because I'm listening to it on 2 times speed, and I've decided to give this thing a go called immersive reading, where you like have your headphones and you listen to the audiobook while reading the real book, which I'm really enjoying because it's making me read it like a lot faster. And I also have a habit of skipping like the descriptions. Like I skip descriptions in books and go straight to the dialogue a lot of the time, and then I have to go back and read the descriptions because I get ahead of myself. So reading the audiobook at the same time is making sure that I actually read every part of it while also enjoying it, while also getting it done at my normal pace, because 2 times speed is when I'm normally reading. That's how fast I read. So, you know, we're gonna sit here for a bit longer. I just figured I'd update and actually talk really quickly, and then we'll almost be done. literally finished this 30 seconds ago. Like, I just got up off the beanbag and sat down to film this. Each one of these books leaves me feeling like empty. I finished The Assassin's Blade. It was going to be like 3.5, 3 stars, but the ending... I can't even explain it, like what I'm feeling, because I'm not sad. I'm not happy. But like, I don't know how to explain. I feel empty. Like, but I feel like crying, but I'm not sad, I'm not happy, I'm empty, but like I have emotions. Like I don't know what I'm feeling. The Assassin's Blade, for the first, like, I'll be so honest, for like all of the novellas apart from the last one, I was really bored. Like, I wasn't bored, okay, bored is maybe the wrong word. Like, they were interesting, I was, you know, going along for the ride, but they didn't mean anything. They were just novellas, they were just little prequel stories, and they didn't really have too much of an impact on what I've already read. The last novella is the one that makes the most impact, and I do think I did the right thing reading it third, because in the first two there's a lot of things that's going through Selena's mind that you don't know the answers to, and you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's happened, and you get that answered for you in this book. And I don't think I would have enjoyed the first two if I had read this first and known the answer to something that she doesn't even know the answer to yet. Like, who sent her to Endovia, which is where she is in Throne of Glass at the start. It's a prison, and she doesn't know who sent her there and who betrayed her, and you find out in this book. And I think if I had have known that the entire time I read the first two books, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. I think it's very impactful to have read it now, because it's like, it's who I thought it was, but I know more about that character now. I mentioned Sam earlier in this vlog. Sam was in this. I loved him so much. Him and Selena and their friendship, and the progression of their friendship from the beginning of this is really, really beautiful. Yeah, I don't know what to say, because it's mainly just sort of like showing you how she got to who she is. Another reason I think it's good that I read it third is that it shows you the backstory between one of her her crucial phrase that she tells herself all the time, which is, where is it? My name is Selena Sardothian and I will not be afraid, which is what she repeats to herself when she's afraid. And you learn the backstory to that in this. I feel like I wouldn't have cared as much about learning that in this book if I hadn't seen her saying it all through the first two books. Like, I would have just been like, okay, that's cool, you know, and I wouldn't have cared until I like read the next two books. But reading it now, I don't know if this is making sense, but reading it now just gave it a lot more meaning, you know, and really solidified things from the first two books that are discussed in the first two books. I enjoyed it. I think it was a nice little collection of novellas. You know, it gives us a lot of backstory to Selena and why she is the way she is, and I really, really liked that. Not my favourite, but like I said, the ending is what got it up to 4 stars, because it was just like, I didn't cry when the really big thing happens. Like, I thought I was gonna cry at a different part of the book, and I got teary, but like, I was like, I knew it was coming. But the second last chapter after and beginning, the last 2 chapters, they got me, which is her going to Endovia, which is where she starts in Throne of Glass. They're what got me, because of the amount of symbols, like the symbolism, the metaphors, the phrases, her thoughts about everything she's gone through. It's all just... Anyway, the Assassin's Blade is finished. Give me 1 second. So, that being said, we have now finished the first 3 books in the Throne of Glass series. Look how pretty they are. All annotated. Throne of Glass, 3.75, and then these 2 were both 4 stars. I'm loving it so far. I'm really excited because one of my friends said that the next book, Heir of Fire, is the book that hooked her. Like, she didn't really care until Heir of Fire. So I'm very excited to get into that, because I have a feeling this series is about to become my new personality trait. So, without further ado, I'm going to end this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you are loved, you are cared for, and I appreciate you so much if you watch this, and I love doing these little vlogs. I can't wait to look back in the future and see my reaction to this, because it's just one of those series that you just know is going to impact you in such a big way. The next reading vlog for Throne of Glass will be on Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, I believe, are the next two. So look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed all my reactions to the first 3 books. Not all my reactions, obviously, because it's spoiler free, but my thoughts and my feelings. And yeah, thanks for coming along with me, and I will see you in the next one.